right.
Welcome, everyone. We will get started in just a few minutes. So just get your water ready and we'll get started promptly at 1 o'clock.
You hear my dogs barking?
Yep, it's okay. 1 more minute. Hello, Linda Turner from New Mexico. Thank you for joining us. All right, we are just at 1 o'clock. I'm going to give everybody a couple more seconds, but as you are joining, you can go to the chat and type in a little hello and let us know you're here. Otherwise, we will get ready to go in just a couple more seconds. All right, well, we'd like to get started and welcome everyone to the new member orientation month 6, all about IFAPAC, your career protection insurance. My name is Stephanie Sheridan and I'm your political director here at NAIFA, and Joe Minardi is our PAC director and he is our other presenter. Today, as we go through the presentation, we would like to make sure that you walk away understanding PACs and their place in public policy and why association PACs matter and why most especially NAIFA's PACs matter to you, the member. So I will turn it over to Joe and we will get started. Thank you.
Great, and thank you, Stephanie. So let's go over to our first slide here. So let's start off with PAC 101. What is a PAC? You know, PAC is thrown around a lot, especially during election seasons. We hear PAC, you know, money in politics. But what is a PAC though? Some of you might know, some of you might not, some of you might have been in a PAC before, but if not, like I said, this is PAC 101. So PAC, it's a political action committee. It's a bunch of like-minded folks. They're connected by issues, beliefs, employment, but it's a way for them to combine their resources together and support candidates who support their interests and issues. And so kind of back before where I said, you know, PAC gets thrown around a lot. We hear a lot about super PACs, but let me just tell you, a super PAC is not an association PAC. These are two totally separate different things. And actually super PACs were created, or allowed to be created, I should say, by the Supreme Court in 2010. They're issue or candidate based. Super PACs can raise unlimited amounts of money, but they can't contribute directly to candidates. And that's really the biggest difference between the two kinds of PACs, is that an association PAC or corporate PAC can give directly to candidates. And back on super PACs, even though associations and corporations can give to super PACs, it's a very odd thing. Very rarely ever happens. Only about 5% of companies have ever given to a super PAC, basically because of the optics of contributing to them. But back to an association PAC though, it's only individuals, and individuals through PACs like IFAPAC can give directly to candidates. And PACs remain the only way that associations can get directly involved in the political process and support candidates directly. But let me reiterate again that, the presidential election is starting to heat up. We'll start hearing more about super PACs. We'll start hearing more media coverage about dark money and super PACs. And it's always a little bit biased because the word PAC always gets thrown in there quite a bit, maybe not even without the super. But again, association PAC, much different than super PAC. It's how Americans can give money transparently and support the democratic process. So now that we have a little bit of knowledge about PACs, a little bit of background, what are some truths about PACs? What are some facts about PACs? What are some myths? Again, PACs are the only offensive measure in our toolkit. They're a tool to help elect the right people to office. And once they're elected, we use our other advocacy tools, lobbying, grassroots, PR, those all come into play. But the PAC really gives all those things a seat at the table. There's an old cliche in Washington. I've heard it a million times. I'm sure some of you have heard it as well. If you're not at the table, you're on it. And I know it's kind of the cliche, but it's so true because, again, the PAC gives you a seat at the table and allows you to have all these advocacy efforts, lobbying efforts, grassroots outreach, things like that. So down to some of our PAC myths. Let's address some of these misconceptions. So we hear this from time to time. People will say it out in the world. PACs buy elections. They buy votes. That's simply not true. It's every PAC is capped to giving $5,000 per candidate per election. So that means that the total you could ever give is $5,000 in the primary, $5,000 in the general. So a total of $10,000. So it's a level playing field. All PACs, no matter how big or small, corporations, associations, they're all on a level playing field. They can only give that amount. So it's a very fair and balanced way of doing things. So number two, we'll hear PACs are dirty. Again, they're not dirty. What the PAC offers is a way for our members to meet candidates, share their story and experiences, let them tell their top concerns and issues to legislators. And that doesn't mean that any legislator is going to support legislation based on a conversation. It's merely a way to have additional interactions about important issues. And three, PACs are a slush fund. PACs aren't a slush fund. As I mentioned before, PACs are not only legal, but they're highly regulated. Everything our government relations team does is monitored by the FEC. All of our PAC, everything we do. In fact, PACs are a great way for millions of Americans to get engaged in the political process. Most PACs, including IFAPAC, go through a very thoughtful process to determine how to best spend their money. We're looking at issues. We're looking at footprints in the states. Does a legislator sit on a key committee? And most importantly, is there likelihood of being reelected? I mean, that's really what you want, because you want to build that relationship with the legislators. So now I'm going to bring you back to biology class, middle school. It's the PAC ecosystem here. This is how the government system works, and it's why IFAPAC plays an important role in helping to protect our members like you and your ability to serve and protect your clients who are the legislator's constituents. And let's start at the top. It all starts with you. The member contributes to IFAPAC, shared values and concerns they have for legislation. IFAPAC then goes out and they support like-minded candidates. Those politicians address industry concerns. They fuel growth. And then professional associations like NAFA provide a platform for our members to share issues and concerns, and that's the loop. That's the loop of democracy right there. That's the important role that we all play in helping our issues get to legislators, helping them understand what we do, why we want things to be the way that we want them. And PACs allow you to engage in America's policies. I mean, it's allowing you to shape the future. And that's why IFAPAC is your career protection insurance, because it's allowing you to have a seat at the table and shape future legislation that's important to you and our industry. So just to give you an idea of what elections are looking like these days, it costs a lot to run for office. Approximately $11 million you have to raise as a Senate candidate, $3.5 million as a House member. And so it's more important than ever before to be an active participant. Even though this graph over here only shows federal elections, we do have some of our funds go to state races as well. And those races, just like federal races, I mean, the dollar amount keeps going up. And I'll talk a little bit about this on my next slide here. So as you can see, NAIFA has many PACs. Technically, they're all under the umbrella of IFAPAC. There's 53 to be exact, 50 states along with DC and our federal one. And one of the things that I want to point out on this slide is it's here to show you that we have a very large footprint. At all levels of the government, we contribute at the state and federal level. And actually, at this point, I'm going to answer a question that we always receive. It's that ahead of time here, that all IFAPAC members can contribute at the state level due to pay-to-play rules. And I want you all to know that there is a procedure for how the dollars are processed and used. When you join IFAPAC, we will have you fill out a directive to determine if the money you're contributing can be used at both the federal and state level, or if you can only go to federal candidates. And this is based on your company or broker-dealer's interpretation of the pay-to-play rules. So now you're thinking, I want to be an IFAPAC member. I know what PACs are. I know they're important to me. But what are some of the benefits of being a PAC member? So as an individual, you have access to the political process. That's really one of the big ones. We do many events in state, and you can have the opportunity to attend a political fundraising event. I mean, it's a great opportunity to really be involved in the political process, have the opportunity to go out, meet your legislator, have them know who you are as a constituent, be able to raise some concerns. Some of the other things, again, you'll just get additional information, gifts and recognition. Who doesn't love some gifts and recognition? We love to do that to our members. So, be on the lookout for those if you join. Also have some special events. Again, one of the other things of just being IFAPAC members, you feel that political involvement. It's one of the things of our democracy that's so wonderful, is that you can be involved in this political process. And again, as the election heats up this year, you'll get some additional election information. So you can be a Washington insider with some information that you get from IFAPAC. So.
Joe, this is Stephanie. Can I jump
All right,
for a quick
jump
second?
on in.
All right, excellent. So I just wanted to share a quick example of how that relationship can benefit you. As you contribute to IFAPAC, you then get to attend events in district, or when you sometimes come to DC, we try to see if there's an event for your legislator while you're here that we can get you in with. But as your relationship grows, it can get to the point where you can host a fundraiser yourself in your own home and invite your clients, potential business prospects. And we have many of our members with that level of a relationship with their legislators. And one that I think is a really neat one that will be happening this summer is one of our Minnesota members, Corey Anderson. He has a great relationship with his federal representative, Rep. Tom Emmer, and he has agreed to go out on Corey's boat and meet some of Corey's clients and friends and do a fundraiser there. And because NAIFA support him through IFAPAC and Corey contributes to IFAPAC, he's going to be able to help support Emmer's campaign at that event and talk about that with his clients as well as his friends. And that can only help to serve to let your clients know how much you really are out there working for their best and number one interest. So that's just a little example of what can happen through participation in NAIFA's advocacy programs. But otherwise, we will get back to the Joe show that I interrupted.
No, but again, Stephanie, I mean, that is a perfect example of IFAPAC in action, of our members being in action, where it's built a relationship, and now they're going out and they're doing this, really cool fundraiser on having a federal legislator come on your boat, and come on, how cool is that? I mean,
Exactly.
that's like, those are the stories they should tell. Like when it comes to the democratic process, like, oh yeah, I got my legislator to come on my speedboat with me, out on the lake. But again, great example, great example of what IFAPAC can do, and what are some of our great IFAPAC members do as well. So again, I mean, why PACs? Because the process is open and transparent. PACs and supporting candidates are the only thing an association cannot do for itself. And it's really, it's one of the things that it relies on its members for support. And we always want to thank our over 4,000 members that contribute, because without you, it wouldn't be possible. I mean, we wouldn't be able to have the strong government affairs team, that program that we have, without a strong PAC. Because again, I just want to reiterate it again, it's the PAC gives you a seat at the table in DC, allows you to go bring up issues of your concern. And it's only possible through members like you. So thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. All right, well, now you guys get to listen.
Now I'm going to turn it over to Stephanie.
Lucky you all. All right, so as Joe told you, we have our one federal PAC, our 50 state PACs, and Washington, D.C. And so we, as Joe has been talking to you, we are open, transparent, and regulated, as Joe mentioned, not only by the FEC, but we are regulated by each of those 51 states and Washington, D.C. Secretary of State's offices, FINRA, the SEC, and the Municipal Securities Rulemaking Board. That's what MSRB stands for. And so there are a lot of rules we must follow in order to both keep our members' contributions legal, and to make sure that our PACs are 100% compliant with all rules. So we, take our time, we go slow, and we, not only does the staff, but our members take a lot of time and forethought into how we spend our money, and ensuring that we are compliant, and we work very hard. Joe gets the fun part. He gets to help spend the money and get it out the door. I'm in the back end working.
Yeah, you get the legal part.
Helping us bring in the dollars and dealing with all the laws that all of our PACs have to deal with. So this is just another way to let you know how open and transparent we are. If you give over $200 to IFAPAC on the federal side, then your name and address are listed with the FEC, because it's part of what we have to do in order to comply with those rules. So as we keep moving forward and we move on to the next slide, we will go in and talk about a little bit specific to IFAPAC and our 51 PACs, how we move forward, and how we kind of operate. So IFAPAC is not an actual federally or state registered PAC, but it is the term we use to discuss all of NAIFA's PACs. And it is NAIFA's advocacy arm, and we are here to support candidates for office who understand the important role that NAIFA members play in shaping America's financial future. Our mission is to support candidates who understand the best interest of our clients and our members and consumers. We take a deep dive into people's voting records, what committees they sit on, if they have an insurance background. And we have a bunch of members who help us look into that. Well, I think Joe has probably spent a long time explaining to you why IFAPAC is important. And I will just reiterate, because it's the only thing that our trade associations themselves cannot do. It is individual members like yourself who have to come together to support these legislators. And how can IFAPAC help you? Well, we just went through one of those slides as well, but we can, by joining our voices together, we can all speak louder and more clearly to Capitol Hill and to our state capitals and let them know about the laws that they are thinking about passing and how they will affect you and your clients. And so that's kind of what NAFA's PACs in particular do, and not just, PACs in general. PACs are kind of go on a 2-year cycle. It's a 2-year election cycle. And so we can move to the next slide. And in that 2-year election, I jumped ahead, so let me go back. Joe also talked about this earlier. We have the directive in order to help keep us, keep our contributions in check. So when you make a contribution to IFAPAC, we have a little life cycle of a PAC contribution. And what that does is once the ask is made and you choose to make a contribution, the national office or home office processes those contributions, and we take into consideration that directive that you guys have signed, because your broker dealer or compliance maybe is saying that you are covered by these pay-to-play rules, so they only want you to give a certain amount back to your state. So we handle all of that. Then we split our funds so that your state legislators and federal legislators can be supported. Then 5, 6, and 7 really happen both at the state and federal level. The federal candidate selection group and the state candidate selection group, they determine who are the legislators that need to be supported in each cycle. And then number 6 is federally based, but you could swap that out and just put in there NAFA Nebraska or NAFA Alaska. They support candidates based on decisions made by other members who determine who's best that we support. And then lastly, in all of those laws we were talking about, and that slide from a couple slides ago that showed you, then we report to everyone and let them know exactly who we've supported and how much we've supported. And so we report that out to those agencies that need to know. And then we also report that back to you, the member. So as a contributor, we every 2 years after each either midterm or presidential election, we wrap up and we see where we've ended up for the year. We see how many candidates we have supported for the year, and we will kind of check our PAC stats, and we let those, we'll send those out, and we'll let you guys all know how we ended up, because it is important when you contribute your money to us at IFAPAC, you also want to know how it was spent, and if we won most of the elections that we supported and things like that. So the next slide shows us a little bit about what happened in the last election cycle, and I'll give you a quick update as to where we are. So in this election cycle, so in the midterm elections, there were 345 federal candidates dispersed. We spent over 2.1 million in the elections on federal candidates and committees. We were ranked number 1 in the financial planning industry, which is awesome. We had been number 1 since 2008. So we might see a dip in that in the 2020 elections, but hopefully you guys will all get on board and we won't have to see that dip. And what is great about our PAC, and something that many people are concerned about, is we aren't just out for the Republicans or out to support the Democrats. We have always been touted as a pretty even PAC. You can see the Republicans did get more of our support. They were in office, and so they held more of those leadership positions, and they tend to be slightly friendlier to us. However, you can see at 41%, we were right there supporting those Democrats. And we pride ourselves, one of Joe's jobs is to try and monitor that percentage,
Yep.
to make sure that we get that in there, right, Joe? You got to always check that out for me.
Exactly. And that actually brings us to our next slide. So
Yes.
I might have mentioned before that our members decide, and that is true. I mean, I want to add that we have a group of people, our candidate selection group, as you can see, and it's made up of IFAPAC and NAFA members who understand the needs of our industry. And they make the decisions on who we support at both federal and state levels in conjunction with our staff and lobbyists. So we will go together creating a list of recommendations on who we think we should support. Again, our members play a very big role in that. There's a lot of oversight. It's not just, me going out saying, I really like, so-and-so, we should totally, just give me. There's a lot of oversight to it. There's a lot of thought and time that goes into choosing the candidates that we want to represent. And again, we're going to take feedback from our state leaders, our key contacts. Again, if people have relationships with certain legislators, feel free to reach out to us and let us know. And, we can bring that up at our candidate selection group. Again, priority is going to be given to members on committees or, footprint states that we have a big footprint in, or if they have connections to the insurance industry. Those are things that we're going to look at. And again, just want to reiterate that, PACs are not some, slush fund that we can give, $1 million to some candidate. You can only contribute a total of $10,000. So again, that's why PACs are great, because they're open and transparent. Because again, before PACs were ever created, it was the, old wild west with people rolling up with, briefcases full of cash. So again, we like it open and transparent here at NAFA, and especially for IFAPAC, to go along with the spirit of being open and transparent as a PAC in general.
All right, and so I will let everybody know our next candidate selection group is in a couple of weeks.
It is.
If you are involved in the political process and you would like to know more, you'd like to know if we're supporting a candidate, you can always reach out to us, and Joe will let you know. We do suggest starting at the state level and reaching out to your state IFAPAC chair and your state executive, as they are generally wonderful people who want to do everything that they can to help you, and they love being involved in the political process kind of as much as Joe and I do. So they will be good members in your state to reach out to, and they can eventually get to us as well and let us know. As you want to learn more about IFAPAC and NAFA's advocacy program, we have an advocacy action center, and you can reach that by going to www.nafa.org/advocate. The site is mobile friendly, and so you can access it from your phone or iPad or computer. You will be required to log into that site because the Federal Election Commission requires PAC stuff be behind a firewall and be members only, and that not every single person can see the IFAPAC stuff. But the great part is your login is the same. There's an advocacy profile, so you can see pictures of all your state and federal legislators. You can report to us at NAFA and let us know if you have relationships with a state or federal legislator, and that way the next time a bill is coming through and we need your help, we can be sure to contact you. And also out of the Advocacy Action Center, we do our action alerts. So if there is a bill going through and we need your help to write to your legislators, it's great, and you can interact and start taking small steps to be politically involved through our Advocacy Action Center. You can see if you've ever made a PAC contribution before. You can make a PAC contribution right there from that site. I highly recommend you go there. If you want to just bypass the entire site and go straight to making a contribution, you can go to www.nafa.org/IFAPAC. And once you log in, that will take you directly to our contribution pages. And if you didn't get that through this whole conversation that we've been having with you today, we would love for you to go to www.nafa.org/make a contribution today and join your voice with the at least 4,000 other NAFA members who are making sure that their voice counts up on Capitol Hill and in your state capital. Joe, what would you like to say to them before we see if there's any questions?
I would like to say again, to reiterate what Stephanie was saying, to join IFAPAC, because truly it gives you a voice in the political process. And I mean, how cool would it be to have a legislator come out on your speedboat? So that's the gold standard right there. And that's what we are all our NAFA members to do when they become IFAPAC members. And so please go www.nafa.org/IFAPAC and join today.
All right, and we will leave it open for a couple minutes and see if there are any questions. If there are, please feel free to type them right into the chat and read them and answer them. But we will stay open for a minute or two there. Otherwise, we want to thank you all so much. If you ever have any questions, please know that every state chapter has a state IFAPAC chair. We also have the National IFAPAC Committee, and members from your state might be on that. There's a variety of people that you can talk to and ask about IFAPAC. And if you go to nafa.org and get into the member section, you will eventually be able to see all of their pictures. So I'm not seeing any questions come in. Thank you very, very much as you are watching this, and we appreciate your time and your advocacy efforts with NAFA. Thank you.